one of the grand finals of CRL East. It is going to be AUK and Lciop in blue, and Ponos' Rad and Reiki in red. Let's get into this one.
I like the UI for the grand finals. Looks a lot better.
Makes you question why we haven't had this all season.
Exactly. So no Fisherman to pull Giant Skeleton yet. Sure, Nova has one in their hand.
Fisherman isn't going to get played. Hog Rider from the side of Ponos.
And Cage to pull it.
Yeah, did get kind of stuck behind the Giant Skeleton, but no harm, no foul. And now Nova load up with their own RG Giant Skeleton push.
Yeah, the big part is that Musketeer is still alive. Defensive freeze early on, knowing that the strength of RG plus the Musketeer can be there.
Yeah, but the Inferno Tower is down, and that RG is super healthy right now. Oh, the damage is just piling up. Reiki and Rad's tower is down to 756.
But for this second Hog, no further cage, no other cage building to actually pull it. And a straight up log to miss the Hog.
You don't see that every day, ladies and gents.
Especially not from Nova.
Oh, indeed.
Nerves are getting on them in the grand final match. But still, they did a lot more from the RG, so that's no biggie. But the big problem will be that Ponos having that freeze. I think that's going to be a big tool when it comes down to those Hog Rider ceiling, when they don't have the cage to response.
The one issue is, if this does go down to a two-tower game, the advantage is very much on the side of Nova. Because the RG... Yes, he's got stuck between the two Giant Skeletons. We do see that as one of the issues. One of the issues of playing something like a Hog Rider and a Ram Rider in 2v2 is you can get trapped between those giant bodies. That tower is not long for this world.
Yep,
Ponos taking significant damage.
Log Fireball. And Nova wants to put in maximum spell damage there to finish off the tower. Basically, there's that freeze, allowing one hit. Second hit. The Lumberjack comes to save the day.
Lumberjack is denied here by the Hunter and the Giant Skeleton, but that Giant Skeleton just runs into Nova's Giant Skeleton.
Raged up, Will Spirit jumps into the Skeletons easily. Good defense again. Pushed away with the log, just takes log damage from Ponos. And I think we are about to see a close ending here. There's that freeze early on.
Lightning finishes it up. Fireball to get rid of the Hog Rider, and Nova Esports draw first blood in the 2v2 as AUK and Lciop take game one.
Very decisive factor, the early RG. And with that Inferno, we thought it was going to be not that hard to actually get that RG down after Giant Skeleton was pulled by the Fisherman. But because that Musketeer behind it survived, the tower was down pretty quickly, allowed the healthy RG to be on the tower.
An untouched RG clip. That RG.
And they need to get it down against AUK and Lciop right now.
So here we go. AUK and Lciop are the ones in blue at the bottom. Reiki and Rad are in red at the top. And we start with the old Spear Goblins from Nova as they get one in, and it's looking like double barrel from Nova.
Double bait, good heal spirit there to keep the Hunter alive. Perfect response from Ponos. As they usually do not spill too many.
Fireball just pushes away that Musketeer, deals a lot of damage, but it will survive with the Giant Skeleton tanking up front.
Again, the Hog Rider.
Again for Ponos, and it is against a mortar. The EQ comes down, but the Hunter is going to deal with that Hog Rider, but that Giant Skeleton is a little bit close.
No, not too close. Just away from the tower.
Do you think it would have been worth if they had a log to throw it down there to push that knight back?
Maybe. That's considerable.
Alright, so Skeleton Barrel coming in on the left. Cannon Cart still very healthy. The Giant Skeleton is going to go down right at that bridge. So nothing can be used there to defend, but the Royal Delivery actually comes in just after the bomb explodes. It still has its shield. Snowball will make sure that that disappears, though.
Yeah, delivery just in time. As Nova, not exactly with the Goblin Barrels, this is a motor bait that we don't really see in too many 2v2s at all.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking, like, at the beginning it was looking like double barrel, because that's usually what we see, the Skeleton Barrel and the Goblin Barrel in 2v2. We very rarely see mortar in this matchup, and that Giant Skeleton just completely ignored by the Knight, who decides to go on a little bit of an adventure.
Second pull with the motor on the right. The Hog Rider actually makes a big jump. Nurse Cake and the poison to get that Musketeer down.
And also just to get more damage into the tower. I think Ponos have realized, oh, that is not good.
Motor.
Knowing that the poison has already come down from Ponos, they decide to drop in a graveyard here. A nice switch up by Nova that does pay a little bit of dividends. Not the biggest of impacts, but some impact it has had. Hog Rider breaks 3 and is going for that mortar in the center. It is going to go down, though.
Not as bad as you thought that was going to happen. Here comes the graveyard again with the push. Now with the skeletons, actually doing a great job. Musketeer all the way on the back. There's some work. Gets it to minimum less than a few hundred.
There is a push building here with this Giant Skeleton Fireball, trying to get rid of that Musketeer, which it does do. Fisherman pulling things around. Double Hog Rider now for Ponos. Are they going to get to the tower? And that is a good freeze. That's a big heal too.
Law comes down, but double the hog on the tower, double the damage, and 157.
And Poison will finish that out. Absolutely insane. Double Hog Rider gives Ponos the win here in game 2. Double Hog Rider 2v2 gets the win.
The big difference this part, and the heal spirit, we don't even see it come down too many times. But not as much for 2v2, as we're about to get the result from the set with this game, number 3.
AUK, Lciop at the bottom in blue. Reiki and Rad for Ponos in red at the top. Remember, the bans are Balloon and Tornado. If you see one of those, it is game over. I wouldn't expect them to make that mistake here in the grand finals.
Today cannot be the day, or it will haunt you down forever until you go down in the graveyard. Giant Skeleton is what you expect without the bans. Fisherman pull skeletons were already used, so no other distractions.
Fisherman and Ewis on both sides.
Log to push it away so that Ewis can actually survive.
The slow interactions here go in the way of Ponos.
Kind of funny, Ewis, Giant Skeleton, Fisherman, they all just doing what they do of the best.
And I mean, Ponos have an absolutely massive advantage of about 130. So the opening exchanges not really causing too much of a difference, but the EQ will eventually start stacking up. So wait to see if Ponos make the best use of that RG coming down here from Nova. It worked well in game 1, but that is an RG going right into a Hunter. However, the Hunter goes down to a Lightning, and
Second
that
shot
RG gets a lot of damage.
Second shot does come through from that RG. That's Giant Skeleton actually delaying the Hog Rider from pushing it through. I think it wouldn't have done any damage regardless. Still, Ponos, they would have to be careful.
Yeah, they've taken a lot of damage. Nova now have a significant lead. Nearly 1,000 hit points separate Nova and Ponos as we go into double elixir. 1 minute left. Giant Skeletons against Giant Skeletons. There's the graveyard. What do Ponos have to defend this? Musketeer is played at the back. A couple of Skeletons getting a hit. Fireball to take out the Musketeer as the Hunter is trying to do what it can. Log has to come in, but 2 more spawn. Okay, 985 on that tower. Hog Rider is shut down by that Goblin Cage. Freeze comes down. Is it going to get much work? Log comes in. 1, 2. 2 hits, 1365. The gap has closed. but there is still a gap in the favor of Nova Esports.
And they're pushing through with another RG now. Ewis trying to delay it from reaching the tower at all. There's that lightning, the leading Hunter and the Ewis together. That's big, healing up, getting one shot to the tower. That's good enough, putting it in that spell range with the cycle for Nova.
So Giant Skeleton loaded up front. They cannot afford to take any more damage. This Hog needs to get to the tower, but it is stuck between two. But it's no longer. The path opened up. Poison comes down, but the Hog doesn't get to the tower, and everything has evaporated on the side of Ponos. And this is looking like a Nova win at this point. Game 3 is very much on the edge. There's the lightning, there's the fireball, and Nova Esports draw first blood in this final.
1-0 set score. Nova in a massive lead already with that 2-0. Ponos, Rad and Rocky Jones, they've only lost 2 sets. 2 sets this entire season.
And they have lost.
And they just lost one more.
To the same people who beat them the last time round.